Rogers' adoption process model. How, why, and at what rate innovations spread. For a little bit about its history, in 1962, Everett Rogers published a book called Diffusion of Innovations, in which he produced a theory for the adoption of innovations among individuals and organizations. The book proposed four main elements that influence the spread of a new idea. Those including innovation, which is an idea, a practice, or an object that is perceived as new by an individual or other unit of adoption. Communication channels, the means by which messages get from one individual to another. Time, which is the innovation decision period, or the length of time required to pass through the innovation decision process. And last but not least, social system, which is a set of interrelated units that are engaged in joint problem solving to accomplish a common goal. Subjective perceptions of the innovation influence diffusion, which is defined as the process where an innovation is communicated through certain channels over time among the members of a social system. Although innovations can create great benefits for everyone, getting the majority to adapt to them can be somewhat difficult, so decisions must be made regarding accepting or rejecting a new technology or innovation. Key factors to keep in mind include questions like, is the decision made freely and implemented voluntarily? And who makes the decision? Based on these questions, the following decisions have been identified. First, the optional innovation decision. This decision is made by an individual who is in some way distinguished from others in a social system. Collective innovation decision. This decision is made collectively by all individuals of a social system. And last but not least, authority innovation decision. This decision is made for the entire social system by few individuals in positions of influence or power. Mechanism. Diffusion goes through a 5-step process. First, knowledge, which is the first exposure to the innovation. In this stage, the individual lacks information about the innovation. Persuasion. In this stage, the individual is interested in the innovation and actively seeks information or detail about the innovation. Decision. In this stage, the individual takes the concept of the change and weighs the advantages and disadvantages of using the innovation and decides whether to adopt or reject the innovation. This is by far the most difficult stage. Implementation. In this stage, the individual employs the innovation to a varying degree, depending on the situation. And confirmation. Although the name of the stage may be misleading, in this stage the individual finalizes his or her decision to continue using the information. Since people are so different, it is hard for an innovation to be picked up quickly by the majority, and as a result, rates of adoption vary. Rates of adoption is defined as the speed of time in which members of a social system adopt an innovation. This can be measured by the length of time required for a certain percentage of the members of the social system to adopt an innovation. Individuals who first adopt an innovation require a shorter adoption period than late adopters. Roger defines adopter categories as classification of individuals within a social system on the basis of innovativeness. These include innovators, whom are the first individuals to adopt an innovation, early adopters, who are the second fastest category of individuals to adopt it. These individuals have the highest degree of opinion leadership among the other adopter categories. The early majority category. Individuals adopt an innovation after a varying degree of time. This time of adoption is significantly longer than the innovators and early adopters. Late majority. Individuals in this category will adopt an innovation after the average member of the society. These individuals approach an innovation with a high degree of skepticism and after the majority of society has adopted the innovation. Last but not least, The laggards are the individuals who are last to adopt an innovation. Unlike some of the previous categories, individuals in this category show little to no opinion leadership. The innovation adoption curve of Rogers is a model that classifies adopters of innovations into various categories, based on the idea that certain individuals are inevitably more open to adoption than others. As you can tell, the innovators and early adopters cover the first 16% of the overall population. The early majority and the late majority cover roughly 34% each, and the laggards cover the last 16%. So when trying to convince the mass of a new idea, is useless. Convince the innovators and early adopters first. New innovations are adopted by organizations through two types of innovation decisions. The collective innovation, when an adoption of innovation has been made by a consensus among members of an organization, or through authority innovation, when the adoption of innovation has been made by few individuals with high positions of power. Within the innovation decision process, there are individuals who stand behind the innovation and break any barriers to its implementation, known as champions. The innovation process within organization also goes through 5 stages similar to those of the innovation decision process individuals undertake. These include agenda setting, matching, redefining or restructuring, clarifying, and routinizing. There are several factors that affect diffusion. Heterophily communication channels are one, for example. First off, homophily is the degree to which pairs of individuals are similar. Heterophily means the degree to which pairs of individuals are different. Diffusion requires a certain degree of heterophily. If two individuals are identical, for example, then no diffusion occurs because no new information can be exchanged. The ideal situation is created if two individuals who are homophilous in every way, except in the knowledge of the innovation. Opinion leaders also affect diffusion. They are influential in spreading either positive or negative information about an innovation. They also tend to be organized into a hierarchy within a society. Yet public choice theory finds that the hierarchy of influence for innovation need not, and likely does not, coincide with hierarchies of official, political, or economical status. The diffusion of an innovation typically follows an S-shaped curve. Successful innovation goes through a period of slow adoption before experiencing a sudden period of rapid adoption and then a gradual leveling off, giving off the S-shaped. The following trend shows several different examples of how an S-shaped curve can look like. Home entertainment, for one example. As well as improvements in U.S. housing. Here you can also see several different S-curve shape curves. Consequences of an adoption. There are negative and positive outcomes to the innovation. The two categories include public versus private and benefits versus cost. In public versus private, public consequences involve large collective entities such as countries, states, organizations, or social movements. Private consensus involve individuals or small collective entities such as a community. Benefits versus cost. Benefits are the positive consequences, while costs refer to the negative. Criticisms of diffusion research include Roger basing most of his information on agricultural methods and various medical practices, which are fairly static, meaning that innovation for new processes would take a longer time. Technologies are not static. and is a continual innovation, so that instead of an S-curve appearing normally, it is composed with many bell curves in different sections of the innovation, representing the mass population adapting to each new version of the innovation. And last, flow of information is strictly one direction. The relevance paradox, also known as the electronic communication paradox, states that without the innovation of the internet, the idea of new innovations would not occur. If computer networks were created and individuals could communicate on a much greater level, then many new and improved innovations would occur. Before the era of the internet, social networking was believed to have a critical role in the diffusion of innovation.